community. So I measured my needs between a community and another one. And I involved so many things, especially in Italy, so there are Italian, find me. But let's start to talk about the extension because we are here for that reason. Firefox is famous for extension. Yeah, I think, I memory, the most important feature for Firefox was disruptive, was the tab browsing, for example. So, as we can see, also as I said, the dev tools, Firefox is famous for extensions, because extension itself, feature as extension, sometimes became feature of Firefox itself. So, this is one of the example why an extension platform, ecosystem as we prefer, are important in Firefox. But I say that because it's true. Firefox is the most conservative web browser in the market now. Because there is not only like the other competitor, you can add only a button in the address bar or improve the URL bar. Because you can change many other things, like the download manager behavior, themes, as I said, other features. So actually it's the most conservative web browser ever, which is true. Not because I am only on Mozilla, but this is true. And another examples are the why add-ons are important also from Mozilla itself. I said we have the Go Faster system add-ons. As I said, the DevTools maybe will be an add-ons for Firefox itself. Mozilla tried to implement features as add-ons because that way we can try to disable, we can remove it, they can ship faster, feature also as core features as develop tools, because not only all the people is a developer, so maybe I don't need it. So the results of test pilot for me is one of the best new projects because it's the first time that I see that you can try a new feature and you can leave a feedback, because usually when you use a web service, a web app or something else, you can have, you want to join the beta program, okay, but you cannot have a survey sometimes. I cannot say what's going on, what I liked, etc. So these are two examples, but Mozilla, why extension are important in Firefox. And there are also a few data that maybe are interesting because as a developer I want to see that my extension is used, because I'm a volunteer, I use my free time. So we have few data from the EMO itself. The EMO is the add-ons.mozilla.org website. We have the 40% of Firefox use add-ons. There are millions of users of Firefox, so there are millions of people that can use my add-ons. There are many add-ons now, but it's a number that after web extension is growing every month. There are many extension developers, but there is also many monthly users on EMO. They are our customer of our extension. But this was before. This was a problem. I am feeling this role because there was a problem that the old technology, or the technology of Firefox itself, are old respect to the new technology of today. XML today is not used anymore. We use JSON. Okay, but the Firefox interface itself is done with XU. Is XML to do the interface, and we want to do an extension with that framework, we need to act with that kind of things. We use CSS, etc. Next, we cannot use the normal JavaScript standard we already use. So it's about the local storage inside in Firefox have a different name, different property, blah, 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 blah. So there is another framework. So we are web developer, I say JavaScript developer, we need to learn new stuff. And new stuff can be cool, but sometimes can be very boring. And sometimes can be very difficult. And I tried so many times to develop an extension with these kind of things. No, that doesn't work. But actually, with web extension, we have completely change of the actual status of the ecosystem. Because for web developers like us, with only HTML, CSS, and JavaScript standard, I say standard, we can do an extension. And there was animated word, okay. I would say standard technology. We love standards. There are many trackages for them for standards. And next, we have another practical things, because we say it's a new technology, will be no documentation, now something with Stack Overflow, oh my God, no Stack Overflow, I cannot do anything. But there is many things about Stack Overflow, because web extension is the Chrome API, so we can find with Chrome keyword, a ready question, ready with code. I started that way. So we have the parity with Chrome Extension API, but they said there is also the documentation from Chrome for many things. So we find the documentation on Chrome, but that's on the end, because we want also our documentation. But there is also another thing, as I said with Nightly, we have electrolysis. With the other old framework, we need to update our code to support electrolysis. With the web extension, we don't care, because it's already supported. We next have support for Firefox for Android. Firefox Android, as I know, is the only mobile web browser that supports extensions. So we can have AdBlock on our Firefox for Android. Ammo works also on Firefox for Android. So only the desktop was is not enough, we can also have mobile. We have also sandboxing that is improving. But the cool part for us, because there was a time when you had to develop an extension for Chrome, an extension for Firefox, as a time with the Windows, with DLL and many other bad things. Now we can have one code that rules everywhere. One on Chrome, Opera, is also working on Edge, and also working on Qt WebKit. I already did the mailing list, they are thinking about it. So for us, developer, we can have not only Firefox or Chrome, but also a huge marketplace. For that reason, I put the one API to rule them all. Because for developers, it's amazing, because it works. I started with A-Station, I developed only Firefox, but it works like a charm on Chrome. So, this is pretty cool. This out of the box, you can have all these kind of things. You can also try a Chrome extension, probably, because the parity is not complete actually, it works also on Firefox. So, what is the actual status of the parity? I don't want to talk about any API because I have no time. I'm Italian, but I can talk so much, but for you it's not good. But, okay, there are many APIs. An example, I love the first point. I am a developer. I'm like a kid at the Christmas waiting for Santa Claus looking at the door when he's coming because I'm waiting for the DevTools API. Because I want to do developer tools too. And it's working. They are working on it. But there are this API that are working out, some of them are already completed. There is native messaging, it's very amazing, they're already available. But this on the website, you can find the status of every single API with the ticket on Bugzilla. So you can track everything, ask questions, because the other teams are nice people, they're also behind these people, they can reply without you problems. So, let's talk about the station. It's like with Chromes. We have these kind of things. And you can say, well, it's not so much different from another web project. We have files, a little bit of files. But let's look on these kind of things. For a web developer, remember like package manager, unfortunately, we lose so many times with package manager. We have to work in many languages. But the important part of this, and I want to talk of the rest, is the content script. Usually, the mainly extension only change the behavior in a page, on a website. This is the mainly of our extension. And actually it's very simple. This monkey became famous for this kind of things. Now we can do it, only explain the URL and the file to load it. It's automatic. You don't need to code. Where is the blah, blah, blah. No, it's already there. Let's also try an example to move this monkey script as a web extension. I only to write this file. So you can find, it's very simple to create a station, but there are many other things. Because content script is a script that run in a web page. There is also background scripts, a script that run inside the browser because I want to communicate to different pages, and I frame in another page. What can I do? I can use a script that run inside the browser, specified in the manifest, auto-loaded from Firefox itself, that do stuff. So there is also these kind of things. As I said, there is also content scripts, very simple. I can write an extension in an hour now, because I can test in the developer tools of Firefox with the Scratchpad, then next I can create the rest, the manifest, upload it on AM, etc. And this is one of the problems. As I said, Firefox is the most customizable browser. But in Chrome, the only things that you can add is that button. And sometimes Chrome add it automatically, also you cannot specify in the manifest. It's automatic added. But in Firefox, this doesn't happen. Actually, in the interface, you can add a button that opens a pop-up menu that is an A-frame, as an A-frame, so you can do a menu like as a web developer usually. And this is one of the things that you now. This is already available because I was forgetting these kind of things. Because we love privacy, Mozilla, we love privacy. And you can specify what files my extension can access. So I have to specify the resources of the JavaScript file CSS reference. I specify the manifest itself. So cannot access to strange files on the computer. Security. So I want to add this part because we are developers. We want to plot some where extension. We need someone that look at our extension. And this starts from the Emo team itself. First, like we can say, there is a review, because when you use Chrome, the Chrome Web Store is very ugly. You have to pay for the account, blah, 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 upload. The extension is released automatically in an hour. So you can say, pretty cool. Not so much, because you can release a bug and no one notifies so much. On Emo, you have volunteers that review your code. They can leave you an email with the suggestion or to improve your code. What is the best things to do? I can say my experience is very important because I improve myself as a developer, but that's the code. And we need the reviewers, so you cannot apply for this kind of roles. And this is the stats. Usually in one day, depends from the time the queue etc. You cannot have your extension approved. With an email, you can say thank you for contribution. Chrome, you don't get anything. So we love contributor. And the roadmap, it was also animated, is available from Firefox 42. So you can also already develop and publish on Emo. You have the SDK for a web extension embedding. I say like an hybrid way to move an old extension in the new way, because it's more simple. We have the roadmap that is planning to activate only a web extension when we release Firefox 53 on Emo. And they're planning for the end of the year to stop to release on Emo extension done with the old way, only web extension. There is also an API because they say Firefox is most customizable. I want to do many other things. So we want file system API, they're planning, they're studied, etc. There is also the sidebar, new teams done as a web extension. They are working on it. And there is also a project to experiment creating new API outside Firefox. So you want an API can experimenting without changing Firefox itself. And you can do it. It's a project already available. And for people that love code, you can find a GitHub repo with example updated often, and when there is a new API, there is a new example. Actually, there are 30 examples available on GitHub, so you can open Firefox and try it, and they're working. You can find all the files, etc. for many of the API available. But there is also some of them are also documented as tutorial on MGN. So I want to know, I can find everything on MGN. Why I can try the extension? That is Firefox. Also the stable, because it was available from the 45. You have only to open about double dot debugging page and use loaded program. That way we have a watcher of the file. So when I change the JavaScript file CSS blah blah blah, they are already loaded. Without do anything, we can also have the reload button to force a reload. Maybe sometimes there is JSON is not uploaded correctly. And we can also have debug to open to debugging users for the background scripts because they are a little bit advanced. So, but we are developers. Developers love the command line. So there are lots of tools for us. The first one is the most famous from the Emo team itself, is a command line to do everything without to use the interface, but also do many other things, for example, testing, packaging, validation, many other things. It is very well documented on GitHub, so you can download without problems, etc. This is my little script because I started to develop when there was change, etc. Is a little script that package an extension and check for Chrome, etc. But now it's not so much required. And this is one I've done because I'm a developer. I want to see statistics of my users. How many people use my extension? I have to open Chrome Web Store, that is ugly again. Emo is fantastic. Okay, that have REST API. Chrome don't have REST API to access information of my extension. I have to scrap HTML. In Python, it's very good to scrape HTML. So I've done a little scripts that scratch this data and create graphs of the marketplace. So I run with the cron every day. I can see the status between all the both of the marketplace. And one of the last news is this. There is the new developer hub on Emo. You can find, for example, project Chrome extension, many other things, already on Emo, that is advanced.mozilla.org for the people that get it. But in closing, because I think it was very fast, because I probably have time to show a demo. There is also the standard in progress from WTC. I don't know actually the status, but for us will be, finally I can have a standard to develop an extension that already run probably in the future in many browsers, but we are standard. But I want also to leave resources because we are developers, we want to read the documentation. Don't write it, but read it, yes. And there is a little bit of links. As an example, there is an extension to download the extension from Google Chrome in Firefox. There is this one is one of the last news. As an example, I said in Firefox there is a problem of antivirus that create problems. In the next version, we don't have extension that can that load library in the system, because the new feature, the new API is native messaging, so on in a different way. But there are many documentation. There is also the roadmap available at Cello. You can see the what release in the new version of Firefox. You can see many other things. There is also the mailing list. So for people that love mailing list, there is a mailing list. There is also a section on discourse. I forgot to add the link. You can find on discourse.mozilla.org is developer tools and add-ons section. So you can ask here your problem, asking developer question, etc. It is a forum. So for people that don't like mailing list, you can also have a forum. So this was my slide that will try to run an extension now from the Firefox itself. Because that was very fast. We are developers, we want to get boring about tech stuff. So this is a page. We can see also a few system add-ons as an example that are already in the system. But now we can see these cool things. I remember the part where is the examples is I put in a wrong, no, it's the wrong path. When you contribute in different projects, you don't remember where they are. Okay, this is the folder available MGN with examples. You can see there are many of them. There are motion client tests, there is native messaging. Native messaging is pretty cool, enable to access a program itself in your computer and communicate with Firefox. But it's not injected inside Firefox. It's another process because it's another executables. So you can communicate with different applications in the system. What we can try, because I'm not connected to the computer. Okay, this is the most simple one. I can say the most funny. He had a button. There was not this button. We have this button because the station is Bestify. We have a simple page that is HTML5 that I have to run in a real page because it's not working. Okay. It's very simple, but the code is very, very more simple because only change the document right and attach the image. It's a code script. There is also another one that changes only the borderline, but these are extensions. And as you can see, you can get fun. I started in that way. I want to say my experience. I taken the Borderify, every time station, and now I use it from the WordPress Polyglots community that support 13 different languages that help all the community of WordPress to translate extension. That add a glossary, and is available also on Chrome and Firefox. So I have finished the time, so I guess there are questions. I'm here.
Yeah, so just a reminder, speak very loud when you ask your question, and Daniela, please repeat the question. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, so there are a lot of Chrome-only extensions, but they actually work in Firefox. So you can run it and you can convert them in like 1 minute. But is there like It's obviously the problem is that Chrome extension developers don't know that they can run them in Firefox. Is Mozilla trying to engage with Chrome extension developers to tell them that they're
Yeah, as you say, in the Developers Hub, there was a page, there was a section, there is also documentation on MGM, but the Developer Hub have 2 weeks of life, so we started to promotion about it. I follow also Reddit, I see people that suggest to move also to try on Firefox. I see also on GitHub people that open ticket, improve your code and work also in Firefox. So I think that in the next months we will see many new extensions from Chrome, on EMU. Yes?
Do you know what the timeline for the W3C standardization is going to be?
I don't remember.
The question is, do we know the timeline for the W3C standardization?
I don't remember that. I remember they opened a group of study, but I don't remember the status, sorry.
More questions? One at the back there? Yeah.
Very interesting for me, but there's something illogical in presentation because you say that extension is really important for Firefox. It was already part of Firefox, and then by the end of the year, 2/3 of the important is every day do not work anymore.
I'm not sure as I understand very... okay.
You have a microphone at the line. Can you please repeat because we could not hear the whole. And yes, I have a strong voice.
Yes, sorry. So I was saying, I think it's really interesting direction, but I was thinking it was a bit illogical in the presentation because you said that extension are a part of Firefox. Everybody, it was what made Firefox, for me at least it is. But by the end of the year, 2/3 of the important add-on that I use every day will stop working.
I understand again very well, but I will try to reply. Well, there is the problem of the change of API of temp, this is true, but the new web extension is the future because I showed now the web extension is like a wrapper to the old SDK. So for us, when there will be changes inside Firefox, for us will be not a problem like before with the old SDK, that when a new Firefox extension was broken. With the extension, this problem don't happen because there is like a wrapper to the inside Firefox mechanics, so it's working without problem.
I did not follow everything.
I don't know very well.
So I can answer that one a little bit better. The question was, a lot of extensions will just break and won't work with the new web extensions model. That's basically your question. You lose a lot of your extensions, right? I'm not on the add-ons team, but I will give what I think my answer is that we're changing the add-on system to make Firefox safer for users, and to make things better for developers and to standardize. And unfortunately, during that transition, yes, we will lose some add-ons, but we're working very, very closely with as many add-ons as possible to port their add-ons and to bring APIs into the new web extensions that will accommodate what they're trying to do. So, we're really trying our best here, but we think this is the future. We think this is the way forward. It's more secure. It's better for users. It's better for developers all around. Firefox will be more secure. It will be faster, etc. So, we're doing our best as we make the transition. Yeah.
You can try, there is a little bit of
It's very important.
so much
Just why do we not consider a more long period of overlap? Because for extension, because I don't believe when you release at the end of the year, you will only release with the scope which is equivalent to Chrome, I believe. It's the current plan, and then it means that specific extension I'm speaking, which specific API which are needed for specific extension won't be ready at the time. So when you will do the transition, lot of extension will stop. Will stop. Why do you not consider to have more long time of overlay to allow people to work on those API which are necessary, and then do the transition with less impact for the user?
Unfortunately, I can't answer that question. I'm not on the add-ons team or the platform team. I'll just give my opinion that we put a lot of thought into it, into the length of the transition time, the work we're doing with developers, the work we're doing APIs and so on. So the add-ons team are actually in the room here. Could some add-ons team people put their hands up? Maybe you can talk to them afterwards and get their thoughts on this. Ask them questions. Okay? Okay, so we have time for one more question.